I was tagged in this story that you're about to hear right now, and I left the title very open the way that I did because I want y'all to feel the initial shock of what you're about to hear. So this man's name is Adolfo Martinez, and he is 30 years of age, and he was just sentenced to 16 years in prison because he committed what will be deemed a hate crime. Now you're probably wondering, what in the world would he have done to be considered a hate crime, and why would he only get 16 years? Considering a hate crime, you would think you would get way more. This man did not harm anybody. He did not attempt to kill anybody. He didn't even actually commit the act. This man, Adolfo Martinez, was sentenced to 16 years in prison because he burned an Alphabet Academy flag in Iowa. I kid you not. He got sentenced to 16 years for that. Yet, we just went through a trial involving Sean Urbanski, who we know committed a hate crime against Richard Collins III over 2 years ago. And the hate crime charges against him get dropped this week, even though he has been found guilty of his crime. And that involved the taking of someone's life. But this guy got 16 years for burning a flag. Now, the last time we dealt with something involving the burning of a flag was that black man, I forget his name. Someone let me know down in the comments who is. And it happened in Georgia. But it wasn't the burning of a flag. All he did was just walk on it. And he got put in jail behind that. And it was the American flag. And he got put in jail behind that. But then all these images of palm-colored people doing worse things with the flag popped up. And it pretty much went against their point. And a lot of protests happened. He eventually got released from jail because of that. But this is letting you know right here who they are catering to in a huge way. Mind you, like I said, the Alphabet Academy is a very small percentage of people in this establishment. Hell, even the world. And they have managed to weasel themselves into positions that will make it seem like it's way more of them than it actually is. And let me remind you that they are the ones that actually hijacked the rainbow. Because for years, the rainbow wasn't meant to represent the Alphabet Academy. But over time, it has, to the point where now you can't even be caught wearing something like that without people looking at you and thinking that you are a part of that community. But he got 16 years for that. 16. I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from the Chicago Tribune. An Ames man has been sentenced to 16 years in prison in the burning of an Alphabet Academy flag flying at a church in the central Iowa city. Adolfo Martinez, age 30, was sentenced Wednesday to 15 years for the hate crime of arson and given a year for reckless use of explosive or fire and 30 days for harassment. The sentences are to be served consecutively. A jury convicted Martinez on November 6th, and he was arrested in June. Martinez has said he tore down the flag that had been hanging from the United Church of Christ and burned it because he opposes homosexuality. Martinez is being held at the Story County Jail while he awaits trial on other charges. Now, one part I wanted to mention was the part where it said that he's awaiting trial for other charges. Meanwhile, he's already been convicted of the charges that you already heard, which was the 15 years for the hate crime of arson and a year for reckless use of explosives or fire and 30 days of harassment. he's awaiting trial for other additional charges. So that actually means he's probably going to get more time in jail outside of the 16 that he already has. Like I said, that's a very small group. But like I said, they have weaseled their ways into positions to have a lot of stuff work in their favor, to the point where you have to speak in code when speaking about them, because the minute that they say that you're quote unquote H-phobic, then all of the pitchforks and fire and brimstone gonna come down on your head, and you have to be ready to fight back, because if not, you will get gobbled up and burned up by it. But that's crazy. He got 16 years for burning a flag that was being hung up by a church. They made it seem like this guy burnt the church down while the people were in it. But he burnt a piece of cloth that probably may not have even been made in America. And he got 16 years in prison because of it. And like I said, in the most of it came from the actual burning of the flag itself, which was the 15 years. But when black people try to prove a hate crime or say that this was a hate crime, it's so many questions. Like, was it or wasn't it? Like I said with the Sean Urbanski thing, they said that it wasn't a hate crime. It was a crime that, came because he was drunk or he was poisoned by drunkenness or whatever it was that they tried to say. It made no sense. Granted, sure, yes, he probably was drunk, but they act like racist people can't drink. Like I said, some of the races, a majority of races, are some of the biggest alcoholics ever. Because that's when they'll allow their true side to come out. Not saying it doesn't come out when they're sober, but when they're drunk, it makes it worse. But like I said, when it comes to hate crime for black people, we always have to jump through hurdles and hoops to prove that it was racism. But this guy does this, and when they say it's a hate crime, it sticks. Like, it stuck. And they didn't back down. And I bet the judge, like I said, the judge in that case didn't go back and reverse it. Looking at you, Judge Lawrence Hill. When they proved that this was a hate crime, it stayed. And they probably said, I wish you would go back and say that it wasn't a hate crime. We'll find a way to get you fired. I'm looking at you again, Judge Lawrence Hill. But that's really all I wanted to say as it pertains to this story right here. I can only imagine what y'all have to say about this. But y'all probably have more disdain than I do for this incident right here. I will say this. Should he have gone around and just burned the flag? Most likely no. But did he or should he have gotten 16 years for it? Hell no. But like I said, it shows you who really has a good foothold in this establishment and who does not. I'll talk to you in the next one.